hardly noticed you. I was watching streams from my good friend Armuda and enjoying the content on display. Well, since you're here, I might as well talk to you about the state of things.
Hello there, it's me, ya boy, Demenza. It's been a while since I've last done one of these, I know, but, well, I'm here now at least, so hopefully that makes up for something. This is actually the second time I've had to record this. The first time I kind of ended up with footage that was mostly blurry because I didn't adjust the focus manually the last time. So I've decided to do that now this time. You might have also noticed that my voice sounds pretty stuffy at the moment. Pollen here is out of control, and I think that might be affecting my sinuses at the moment. So, you know, I guess I'm just dealing with that, which is a whole lot of fun. But regardless, I wanted to get this thing out there since I've been saying I'm going to put it together for a while, and since it's been long overdue, like 4 months overdue. I didn't do it on the last video either, I don't think, because I just sort of forgot, and then I continued to forget, and well, we're where we are now, basically, by that sort of nature of things. But regardless, this is finally the time I'm going to do the State of Demenza address, and I'm going to do it in sort of a new way that I'm going to try and keep going forward. First off, there's this video, which is sort of the main chunk of the video, and that's going to be sort of just a general rundown of everything I'm currently working on, upcoming projects, upcoming work, what's going on with the channel. It's going to be a lot more basic, a lot more simple. I want to basically give you the zoomed out look as to what's coming up, whereas I'm going to follow it up with a Patreon only version that is going to talk a little bit more in depth about those same upcoming projects. So I'll tell you, for instance, that I'm working on a thing here where I'll kind of actually talk about what the thing is on that other Patreon only version to go a little bit more in depth. So that's kind of the general vibe I'm going for. But I have a few things that I want to bring up, and then I actually have a few questions that were submitted. So we're going to try and go through all of that to the best of my ability. I am only one man, so, you know, pardon me if I mess anything up. But let's start with first the channel updates. So first off, in terms of podcasts, I know not everybody likes podcasts. That's fair. I'm not that much of a listener myself. Actually, who am I kidding? I listen to a ton of podcasts, editing and stuff, but only specific ones. I only have about 2 or 3 that I actually really like because I'm very specific about what I consider to be worth listening to or worth watching. But in terms of my own podcasts, there is the Beyond the Wire series, which I started doing. The first episode is already up with Coffee Cakes. It was a lovely time to sit down together and just talk shop about this stuff we do. So I basically have continued the spirit of that. I have a bunch of new guests that I have sort of lined up. 4 episodes of that podcast are currently under work right now. I'm hoping to get them out. I'm hoping to get at least one out by the end of the month, maybe, or at least, you know, very close to the end of the month. And I'm hoping to get one out pretty soon after that. I'm basically hoping to try and make these a little bit more regular in the background. There's just been some life stuff that's kind of gotten in the way for now. So yeah, look forward to those. I sat down with 4 different creators. We talked about basically work, life, everything together. It was a whole lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to getting those out there because those are some of my favorite things I've recorded. And I know, you know, it's just a simple podcast, but it is really nice to just sit down with other people and have a chat, you know? On top of that, there is another podcast that I'm working on. I know, Dem the podcaster over here. But this one is another one that I'm working on with a close friend of the channel. I don't want to talk about the exact specifics into what it's about yet, but it will be a sort of movie-related podcast that I'm doing with a dear friend of the channel, Coffee Cakes. I'm not going to talk about the specifics of what types of things we're going to be covering or like what we have planned, but we have an episode recorded. We have a few others planned that we want to talk about. You know, we have some topics selected already and stuff like that. So right now it's just a matter of editing that and getting it out there for good. Yeah, so that should hopefully be a lot of fun once that also comes out. Alright, let's stop beating around the bush. You came here to figure out what I'm doing with videos, and the answer is quite a few things. First off, there is the most recent mainline video that I'm currently working on at this moment. In fact, after I edit this, I'm probably going to go back to working on that. That video is, I think I've mentioned it before, so I feel okay mentioning it here in the public version. That video's topic is going to be on hydrophobia and its history, sort of what followed it, what sort of came before it was released into the market, and what happened after. I'm just going to sort of cover hydrophobia as in-depth as I can, as is part of the plan, you know? So I will be doing that. Big Mac just walked across my keyboard and I had a heart attack not knowing if he had maybe paused the audio or something, because he is a little bastard, man. I just realized again that my background is not what I want it to be. Why do I keep doing this, man? We're just gonna do it live. I don't care anymore. I can't do this. I can't edit around it. Big Mac, what are you doing? I hope he's in camera shot. I really do. Oh, he's there a little bit. Wow, look at him. He's beautiful, isn't he? Isn't Big Mac such a guy? Anyway, we're just gonna pretend that I didn't have a Discord window open there instead of my background. Okay, we're gonna pretend that I'm a professional tuber. Okay. Anyway, yeah, hydrophobia. It's a video I've been working on for a while. I actually started it technically before Total Chaos, so it's fairly decently far along. I was hoping to get it out before the end of November, but life had other plans. Turns out it's a fairly busy season, so I've been a bit preoccupied with work stuff and other stuff and all this stuff. But yeah, I'm hoping to get that out here soon. It will definitely release before the end of the year. And then in terms of other videos that I have sort of on the docket, I don't want to show my hand too much, but I am going to do a year-end wrap-up as well. It probably will not actually be out this year. It's more likely going to be out closer to, say, January. So look forward to that whenever it does eventually drop. I'm gonna just basically be talking about a whole bunch of games that I either didn't feel like covering in full depth, or that I feel like are already, covered enough. Generally, larger games I don't cover as much because it doesn't interest me and I don't have as much to say. The history of them is a little bit less interesting to me than the history of a small company that released one title and then died, which is probably why my channel is so small. Why do I do this to myself? So, you're probably asking, is there anything else that I have in the works? And the answer is yes, actually. A fairly big project that I wanted to work on for, honestly, at this point, a year or two, is back in production. For a while it was on hold, and I'm not going to talk about the specifics here, but if you know, you know. Yeah, it's going to be nice getting back to that one. I'm planning on making that sort of a bigger video project, and then I have a few other smaller things, obviously, that I want to cover. And then, of course, as always, I'm doing streams over on Twitch by myself, and also sometimes the occasional duo stream with me and Armuda, a good friend of the channel, who I was watching earlier. I very much enjoy getting to stream with Kyle, so it's nice that we've been able to do that so often. This is just also a reminder that you should probably be watching this over on the second channel if you aren't already. I'm probably going to put it there. I might put a redirect link or something up on the main channel, but I'm also putting stream archives on this channel going forward. I'm going to try and stream a little bit more by myself in addition to with people. I started Signalis, and I want to continue to see that to fruition. I'd like to just occasionally do like full playthroughs, basically, of certain games and stuff like that. So just keep an eye open. If that sounds interesting to you, if you just want to sort of hang out and watch me play a game, you can either catch the streams live or watch the archive here on the channel. Either way, I just hope it's something you enjoy that makes it worth it at the end of the day. But that's pretty much it in terms of the actual update portion of this video. The next thing on the list is actually the questions. So let me grab my notebook. Alright, so user Randolph asks, what's coming up in 2023? Well, the answer, as I mentioned, is a few things. I'm hoping to try and cover a little bit more games that I have on my list. I essentially have a running tally of games that I think of that are of interest. In terms of specific games that I could see myself covering or that I want to cover right now, there's a few I've kind of been eyeing that I'll let you in on. One, there's a horror game I adore called Darkwood that I want to make something about. Darkwood is a really, really good game, and it's also probably one of the more popular games I'll cover. But I think it's one of genuinely the best survival games, or survival horror games that I've played in ever. So I would definitely want to cover that at some point. There's some PS2 games I want to cover. Manhunt would be good. I actually have a copy of that one. And then another one that I've really been thinking about is there's a PS2 game called Ghost Hunter that is something I played in childhood that I really enjoyed. I know it probably didn't hold up for shit, but I want to maybe revisit that. But yeah, the answer more or less is kind of just more of what I've been doing, honestly, just covering games that I find particularly interesting that come up, most of which tend to be a little bit older, but I might cover some more recent stuff. I really liked Signalis, or what I've played of Signalis so far, so once I'm all said and done with that, I could very well make a video about Signalis. I don't know. It's really hard to say, because for me, I sort of just play stuff until something clicks and I go, okay, yeah, I can have something interesting to say about this. There's something here. Which is generally, for me, that's more interesting to do with the studio that has a clear history that I can look at, a beginning, a middle, and an end. So, yeah, we'll see, basically, but I hope that answers your question to satisfaction. Roboman MD asks, how's Big Mac doing? Well, you saw him jump up on the table here earlier, but Big Mac is doing pretty good, actually. He's a little annoyed right now because I have my door shut while I'm recording this, and Big Mac is always annoyed when I'm recording things because I'm not paying attention to him. That's a very serious thing, by the way. If you ever watch my streams, or if you ever even listen to the podcast, you'll notice Big Mac likes to just sort of rumble on into a room and just sit there and start meowing until he gets attention. Especially with streams and stuff, so I'll frequently have like a Big Mac cam or something for him. But he's been good, he's healthy, he's happy, he's been getting a lot more new toys for him to play with recently. And basically, all the money from Patreon either goes to buying stuff for the channel that I think I'd like to cover, or to buying Big Mac food or toys or whatever, because he is the channel's mascot, for better or worse. And yeah, it's been nice to have a cat again. I had a cat for so long as a kid, and then there was a period where I didn't, and then I found Big Mac. I actually found Big Mac at a shelter where he sat for like 2 weeks where nobody picked him up. I saw a picture of him online, and in minutes I was just like, oh, I need Big Mac. I like, for a whole few days, didn't stop thinking about Big Mac, and I kept mentioning to my boyfriend at the time, like, hey, we should pick this cat up. We should pick up Big Mac, because I couldn't stop thinking about him. Needless to say, yeah, he's great. He's a little dad's boy, a little daddy boy that hangs around me like attached at the hip. He's very attached to me. If I leave for more than 5 minutes, he starts to cry. That's serious, by the way. I've gone to like pick up a burrito before, and Big Mac will just start crying downstairs because I'm gone and he can't find me. So, yeah, he's a spoiled little man, and I love him very much. Thanks for asking, and thank you as well, Randall, for asking your question. Sorry for forgetting earlier, the head cold and all that. User All-Seeing Eye asks, "What are you?" I'm just a funny little guy, a silly little man who makes YouTube videos. That's all. Nothing more. Don't worry about it, and don't ever ask me that question again. On to the next question, the final question. Kyle Armuda asks, "Who's your favorite Danganronpa character?" Well, I'd have to think about that. You see, I really love the Danganronpa trilogy. I think they're great video games. I really particularly enjoyed the middle game in that series. What was it again? Virtue's Last Reward. It was brilliant. I think my favorite character would definitely have to be Alice. I think she's just brilliantly written and truly just wonderful to be around. I really wish she could get more screen time in that game. But yeah, I think that would definitely be my favorite Danganronpa character. Definitely, for sure. That does it with all the questions. Thank you everybody for submitting. I really do appreciate it a whole lot. It gives me something to sort of put here to communicate with you, the audience, directly. So I hope next time I send that link out there, again, I continue to get those questions. It's always nice to get some interaction between me and you guys. I really, really do try to make things that are enjoyable to both me and to you, and I really hope that everybody is enjoying all the videos and stuff that I put out there. So yeah, I appreciate you all for watching me. I'm going to end this and then continue the Patreon recording where I sort of revisit some of the same topics and go over them in a bit more depth. But again, I really, really appreciate you guys sort of hanging out, watching this video, and continuing to watch the channel. Please go ahead and support me on Patreon if you haven't already, or just follow me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, whatever. Just sort of reach out there, follow me wherever you can, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have for now. This is being recorded on the morning of Thanksgiving, so if I say Happy Thanksgiving, it's already probably too late, but regardless, I hope you all had a very good Thanksgiving with your friends, or family, or both. But yeah, that's all for me. Stay safe out there, gamers, and remember to stay hydrated.